using the sacral pump or the one using the foot pump. Alright, so next exercise. We're going to touch our partner center from the lower position. Now we're going to spiral in. Now when we're in this lower position, when you feel the tension underneath your scapula, and then as we roll around, I want you to feel the tension on the top of the scapula. So under, over. As I put the spiral in, I'm projecting from here around to there. There, around to there. Under, over. Under, over. The reason why I'm doing this is I want to get my fingers a little bit latched so I can punch it. I want to create an opening. So this hip turns, it pulls back slightly, generates a loading, and then we pull on this hand. And then from there, we control this hand so he can't defend, and we strike back down the line. So we press in, wrap around the scapula, get this feeling, and then strike. Wrap around the scapula, strike. Strike. This is one of the many beauties from Wing Chun. Very, very effective. It's one of the most trained movements on the wooden dummy. Talks our Hunsa. And when you put the Tai Chi principles into it, it works incredibly well. Now, because we don't want to be in a habit of pulling punches all the time, what we're going to do when we're here, we're just going to stick the hand onto center and let a little bit of Jin come out. The foot that we're pumping here, once we've pulled through, I'm doing 1 and 2 with the sacral pump, and then 3 foot pump. You can use the leg and the whole compression off the ground when you want to have a finishing blow. So you don't need to use the legs or breaking the person's structure to tear them out of their base. If you're in a fighting stance and you just sort of get a touch, you might want to use the hips a little bit more as you do this. The knuckles have a sharpness inside the Jin. When you hit someone with the palm, there's always a sense of energy spreads a little bit more, it's not quite as damaging. The pounds per square inch are a lot less because of the surface area. But when you hit someone with 1 or 2 knuckles, pounds per square inch increases, and the intention, the Jin behind it becomes much sharper. So if you're hitting someone in the sternum or the chin or the jaw, it's a lot easier to break their jaw, break their bones, with that increased sharpness in the energy. So you can play it a little bit differently when you're doing pad work. If you want to train this energy up through hitting something, if you have space, put a wooden dummy type post into the ground, wrap a little bit of rubber around the bottom, concrete it in, and put some jigsaw matting around it. Then you can practice things like brush knee and hit something that's not going to move much. On the top, it's not going to have more than 1 to 2 inches of movement, and it's grounded. So as you hit it, the connecting force goes back down to your base, and you can feel the ground past every hit. If you have a punching bag, 6 punching bag on a concrete wall. So when you hit the bag, it reverberates back down to your foot. Try not to let the bag be too dead. You want to have a bit of sponginess in it, so it has a bit of recoil, a little spring back, so that you can feel the pressures pushing back on your joints. If you hit something dead and everything stops, then there's no rebound. So your listening isn't going to be developed in the same way as springiness in your joints. I found to have a little bit of jigsaw matting between the wall and my bag, and when I hit the bag, which is leaning up against the wall, that has a pressure in it that when I stop and stick, that sponginess, I can feel it in all my joints, and I can open all the joints and create a nice line, and then train the short, sharp contact energies, or the big hitting energies, the big swinging type energies. The shorter the hit, the less movement you want inside the bag. So your bag should be a bit denser, so with the rubber behind it. If you're having a big swing, you want to have enough give in it so you can hit at full power without damaging your hand. You don't want to be creating a pain response on every hit. Like a lot of Wing Chun people use a full wooden dummy with no padding. Every time they punch it or hit it, it's going to hurt. So they hit it and punch it softer and softer and softer until it doesn't hurt. That means you're psychologically holding back all the power. That's why most Wing Chun guys, when you hit a focus movement, you hold it so like, there's nothing there. You know, it hasn't got any power because they've switched their power off from not breaking your hands in the wooden dummy. So if you have a wooden dummy, pad it up, put some jigsaw matting around it, work a range. For Wing Chun, you're not going to be punching any further than the length of the arm. So work out how much padding you can put on your dummy, so as you hit it from that distance, you can put maximum power into it with minimal damage to your hands. Once you find that balance, then you train that up, and then you might reduce the amount of padding in 6-12 months' time, because your hand energy will compensate. You won't be as sensitive, so you won't have to pull your power back. You got to find that balance when you're doing any form of pad work. You can buy small punching bags like that. If you haven't got a place at home, just take it with you to the park and strap it onto the tree and practice hitting into the bag which is strapped onto the tree. Nice and simple. Hanging a bag in the air is pretty useless. It doesn't give you a ground path connection back through your body. So as you hit the bag, it swings away, which isn't what you want for this type of internal sticking energy and ground path connection. Alright, jump into that drill.